Hi, I'm Ben Clinch from the Free Range Butcher. I'm here with my parents, Peter and Trish Clinch. Today we're having a few conversations around our farm at Barraba. Our farm's called Blue Hills. We're about 30 k's out of town. We've touched on the operation of the farm, Dad, about beef and lamb, but let's talk about pork for a minute. We introduced some sows from the Malanda Park operation a few years ago. Or was that 3, 4?
Must have been 4 or 5 now that we did that. I think we bought a total drop of smaller pigs. We grew 20 of those out into the sows that we've got now. We also did buy some Cornish black pigs, which was the rare breed, the old rare breeds. We brought that back into the mob of pigs, which had a lot of flavour in them. They were an old lard pig, but they definitely had a lot more flavour, so we introduced that in back about 4 or 5 years ago as well. Our pigs had sort of derived that, still quite a few black pigs, which is quite not as desirable as far as the processing goes, but as far as field pigs go, they do stand out.
It is a free range pasture-fed pork operation, so the pigs, all the pigs, whether they be growers or weaners or sows, are outside for their entire lives. They've obviously split up in different groups. Can you sort of describe roughly how sort of the setup works on the farm?
Yes, well, we join, once they're joined, they do go out into a mob of sows, and once the sows do show heavy in pig, we do split them.
Into a small yard.
We do split them off then, and they come to be looked after quite a bit more. They're outside all the time, except for probably about a week, 10 days, while they're farrowing.
We've got that bit of a shed complex there where we put a cement floor on. There's sort of all bricked in on 3 sides, protect them mainly from the weather in the winter.
We do, there is some cold winds, we do try to protect them, but they have got their own little huts where they do farrow out.
And most of the year they're farrowing outside in those acre-sized sort of paddocks.
Virtually all the time.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They're in the smaller paddocks, and then there's huts within the smaller paddocks. We push fresh straw in, we buy barley straw because it's quite soft for them. They make a nest out of that, and then they farrow and generally probably get 6 to 12 pigs. Some people get a lot more piglets, but we tend to sort of be happy with that sort of 6 to 10, which we can handle.
The weaning process is different in a free range operation compared to a domestic one. The domestic tend to wean about 3 to 4 weeks and try to get the sow turned around fairly quickly in the shedded sort of operations.
Yes.
We've got a lot longer weaning period, double that.
We go out about 8 to 10 weeks before they're weaned. We move the sows into a weaning paddock, and then we drift the sow on the litter, and then we drift the sow off about 2 to 3 days after that, where they seem to be comfortable with the paddocks. The young ones seem to be comfortable with the paddocks.
And that longer weaning period is obviously a lot better for the piglet itself. We give them a crumble early on, so they're gaining, they're already sort of feeding, supplementary feeding off to the sow, so it's not such a sudden.
We do introduce food as early as we can. This crumble you're talking about, it's about 22% protein. But they soon go on to pellets after that. Which is still a higher, it's about a 20% protein pellet, and then we go back onto the 18% protein, which is what they grow out of.
And that's when they move out of the weaner area. Once they've got a bit of size and they're used to that, they're weaned and comfortable, and they've obviously got over that. Because the weaning's it's obviously a high stress time for a pig.
Seems to, yeah, it is a high stress time, but they seem to, the way we do it, there doesn't seem to be too much stress in it.
And I think minimising the stress is obviously critical to the end product, but it's all...
We've got to keep it growing.
That's right.
The pig needs to be kept growing, or the piglet needs to be kept growing. And once we move it on there, out from there, We generally try to have oats or some sort of summer crop, or in the wintertime oats, where they're grazing, full-time grazing, with supplementary feed.
And that's a forage crop. You'll have a feeder in there where they've got access to the pellets. There's clean water from troughs.
Always clean every day. The troughs are all washed out.
And they've got nice trees or shade areas. Man-made sort of
Shaded
stuff
areas,
to
they
go up.
come to shade pretty well. We've got there's dams in the paddock as well, and probably an acre of trees as well they can go through. We don't believe single trees is a way to go in paddocks because they're only dying out. We do try to get an acre or more of trees together where they can go.
A group of trees so they can
A
get
group
over
of
there.
trees so there's access.
You find that regeneration of those trees is obviously much better in that area.
It works. It does work. We do lock several areas up in different paddocks for maybe 5 to 10 years, where there is a regeneration taking place in our areas where there is trees.
Well, I hope that you've learned a bit about our pork operation today. We obviously use the pork that we produce here and the pork we get from Jack Hewitt at Oakley in our free-range butcher operation. Or make all our smorgasbords, our fresh sausages, any of our fresh pork. And we'll show you the processing details and how we do that on a video as well, so you can see the end product. But this is how we farm it. Thanks for watching.